Welcome back. In this tutorial, we're going to design the currency conversion page. So this is a page where the user can convert their currencies. So quickly, let's begin. Let's take our frame and go to the font size we're using. So now we're going to rename this frame as currency conversion page. Okay, select the frame and also activate your columns. So we're going to use the 4 column count as well. So now let's go to our plugins and launch phosphor icon. Now we search for the arrow and bring it in there. So arrow. We're going to make use of this. Put it somewhere around there. That is 42. Alright, let's take our text tool and type convert money. Alright, so select the text and I'm going to update the size from the design system to system medium. So you take it and bring it somewhere around here. So quickly let's duplicate that and update the text to enter amount and select currency to convert to. Just select this text and go and update it to detach this one for 12 million. Take it up a bit. You can select the two and make sure they are left aligned and give their spacing to 10. That's too much. To 5. You can group them together. Alright, so next we're going to take another text and write amount to convert. Amount to convert, and this should also be 12 medium. So we take it somewhere around there. So now we're going to create a component. This component is going to be the one that will have the section where the information of the currency will display and that of the rates. So this is going to take time a bit, so I would like you to pay close attention. Alright, I'll select the frame and give it height and weight 350 and the height to 250. Alright, since we're going to create component using this frame, we'll take it outside the main frame and we use it to create our component, give it a feel of height. Now inside this frame here, this is where we're going to add 1 or 2 sections. So let's duplicate this frame and update the height of the copy to 100. Let's see. Okay, let's take it down to 80. Now select it and give it corner radius of 15. Right, and give it stroke of 0.5 and reduce the opacity to 25. So now we're going to reduce the weight of the frame to 340. You select it and align it inside the middle of the parent frame. So make sure the frame is inside the parent frame. So you can see it's not there. So drag it and put it inside and align it properly. Alright, now inside this inner frame, we're going to add some properties there. So now let's take our text tool and write USD. Now select the USD and add auto layout to it. That is shift A. Now right click and go to your plugins and also bring in the arrow icon that will serve as selection drop down icon. So we'll look for arrow and we're going to insert this into the frame like that. Alright, so now since we're dealing with currency, we would like to add the flag so that it will be more user friendly. Okay, so we're going to right click again, excuse me, make sure the frame is selected. Alternatively, just go and get the icon, plugins, and go to flat icons by free pick. Then here we search for US flag. Then we make use of this, add it to our design system. Now we're going to scale it down, select it and switch to scale selection tool. Then you scale down to 18 by 18. Right, take it and put it inside the text frame like this by the left. Right, so now we're going to select the text frame and give it background fill for our colors. So this is going to be this fill and give it corner radius of 10. Let's increase the corner radius to 20. Alright, that's okay. So now we're going to play around with the padding. It's too much, so the padding, let's scale it down to 5 across the frame. Alright, this is perfect. So now we're going to take this frame and put it here inside the inner frame. Now we take our text tool and write balance in abbreviation. Then we'll put the dollar sign and put random balance for this particular section. Now we put it here to change the opacity of the balance to 70%. Alright, so quickly we're going to duplicate this text, or you drag to this side and change the balance to just symbol and 0. This is going to show this is going to show the amount to convert to. So since they have not converted, so it's 0, and change the appearance back to 100 and update the text size to 16. medium. So we're done with the first frame. Now we're going to design another frame again. So let's select this and drag it down. This time we don't need this one. We're going to delete, and delete. Now this frame will update the height to 100 and give it background fill of this. Let's take this instead and also update this back to this. All right, now this frame here, we're going to remove the stroke and now put some text inside. Okay, quickly we're going to copy this and bring it inside this frame and update this to conversion fill. Okay, so we change the text from that to semi bold. After medium is what? Semi bold. Okay, the appearance back to 100. All right, in that case, let's take it back to regular. Still sharp 12 regular. Okay, so let's duplicate that. Alt key, you drag. Then we're going to say amount where we'll convert to. Select that first and update it to bold, medium, sorry. So we're going to duplicate this one more time and write today's rate. So this should also be revert back to regular. Alright, so let's duplicate this to the right. We're going to take this and duplicate it to the right. I'll just update it to equal to 0 amount, right? And we take it towards the edge of it. You can select the frame and turn on the grid so that you position your item properly. All right, so now similarly we're going to do the same thing. Copy it above the fill and also write minus here instead of equal to. Then we copy it, alt key, drag down. Then here we just put a random text. Let's say $1 equal to 1,600. Let's say this conversion is going to be between dollar and that of naira. So select this and align them like this and move them towards the edge of the grid. So this one to move it towards the edge of the grid and align it to the center of the frame. Alright, so make sure these three also are aligned to the left and move them towards the edge of the grid like this. Okay, so now you can select them together and give them proper alignment. Select this and this, proper alignment, this and this, and also align it. So now you can select all of them together and group them. Before that, distribute the vertical spacing, then you group them together. All right, before we proceed, let's select these three texts here. select them all together. And go on, update there to regular. Okay, so now we're going to use this frame as a component. After we created the components, we are now going to, after we create the component, we can now update each and every one of these things here. So quickly select this and make sure you properly align them to the center. This is the same thing, align it to the center. So now select the frame and create component. All right. So we're going to add variant to this component. So the component will now be like this. So we're done with this. So the next thing we're going to do after this is to create other section that has, all the currencies. But before we do that, let's quickly create a list component that will have the selection drop down for the currencies that we're going to convert. So we're going to create the list of the currencies. So select your text and write Naira. Select it and add auto layout to it. Select it and change the hug to fixed width and update the width to 350. Now change the background fill to white and update the text to 16 million from our design system. So it's already in 16, just update it back to black. Now in this Naira, we would like to have the symbol for Naira as well. So quickly, we're going to select the plugin and go to our flat icon by free pick and search for Nigerian flag. Then we're going to make use of this, add it to your design system, and we close. And this one we scale it down to 20, or let's say 18. All right, now select the USD icon too and update the icon. So go to flags, plugins by free pick, and search for US flag, and also add it. And the next one is sterling. So it's for UK flags. So add that one too. And the last one is China. Also add that one too. So now we're going to take them and position them where they are supposed to be. So you can take them out one after the other first. Then you do that manually. So remove this one too. And remove this one too. Alright, so now let's go to UK USD, which is going to be this, to 18 by 18, and take it to the frame. So take it to the frame like this and delete this one. So do that of UK, the same thing, 18, 18, and put it to pound sterling. Then the RMB, the same thing, 18 by 18 in dimension, and put it to RMB. So this way we're going to delete this one as well. Okay. So we want it to be properly aligned. Select the text and this. The spacing is too much. I don't want it to be like that. So we're going to, position that properly. This two. Spacing here is 10. So let's update it to 5. So now aside from that, the positioning is somehow I want it to align properly with others. So what we're going to do here, we quickly remove the auto layout. Then we can now, use manual positioning to see how it works. So let's remove the auto layout and select the two together. Then the spacing, since others are 10, you bring it back to 10. Then we can group them together and align them properly with other ones like this. Alright, this way I think is better. Now select all the frames together. Select all the frames together. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we're going to update that stroke to 0.5. And here too. And change the opacity to, so here we'll change it down, go to the stroke, and for this all here, and select it, and here come to the stroke as well, only button here too, select this frame. Let's select the icons and these and change their direction hugging to the left side of the frame. Then we give the left padding to let's make it 20. Alright, so select the second frame, take it to the left, and the padding to 20 as well. The third one to the left, and also the padding to 20. So the fourth one, since we temper it down, we do it manually and keep it somewhere around there. And the last one, select the frame and also the padding to 20 and change the direction to the left as well. Okay, so this way I think is better. Now quickly let's copy the icon from there and come and drop it here. Okay, so double tap only on the icon, alt key, drag, and come and keep it here. All right, then we change the direction, flip it to this other side, then you can rotate it 90 degree. All right, take the icon to the edge of the frame. If you look at it, it's not moving, right? All right, so you're going to select the frame and just come and change the position here, the icon. Then you change the position from here. Then now you can take it to the edge of the frame. Then you drag it inside a bit, so you can leave the X positioning to 330 and use your alignment tool to align it properly. So quickly you can copy that and keep it to the other frames like that. Okay. So now you can select all of them together and align them properly to the center like this. Okay, and make sure they are properly aligned to the center of their frames like this. Okay, now we're done with that. So what we're going to do next is to select each and every frame together. Can hold down your shift key, select all of them together, then you add auto layout, so you shift A to add auto layout. Make sure all of them are selected. If not, it will scatter. Can drag like this or like this, then shift A to add auto layout. So now all of them are in auto layout. So what you are going to do is to select the parent frame, which is frame 131, and create component to it. So now it's now a component, so we can name this as drop down list. So now we have our two components. So we're going to use these two components to now design the drop down list. So we can name this as currency selection drop down. Okay, so now we already have these as a component, so we're going to add more variants like this. Now in this variant state, this is where we're going to now update one or two things. Okay, so let's zoom in. Now in this variant state, we want to have a selection drop down that will enable the user to select their options and to convert. So in the variant state here, I'm going to delete this section, all right, and close the height. So if you see you're closing, it's not working, right? So select this inner frame and change it to this. That is a constraint. So now you can reduce the height. Okay, similarly, this part we don't need it. That is the text. We take the text away, then this one too, we take it away. All right, and lastly, let's remove this selection frame outside there. Then we delete this frame. Then we'll revert back the selection frame. Okay, keep it somewhere around here, then delete this one. So once that one is deleted, bring only the selection drop down here. Okay, so now it's inside this selection state that we're now going to bring in other copy to this side. Okay, so I'm going to zoom out a bit. Then now this drop down list, we're going to bring the copy of it inside. So hold down your Alt key, then you make a copy of this like this and put it inside this second variant. Make sure it's inside, if not it will not work. Put it inside the second variant. Alternatively, you just copy it, then select this and Ctrl V to put it inside the frame. So you can see it's now inside the frame. Then you bring it down a bit like this. Okay, so that it will be like that. So if it's not working, you can use a Y and X direction constraint to position it, but make sure it's inside this frame. So what you want to achieve is when user tap on this default currency, this one should open as a list for them to make selection. So that is why we created this. So quickly we are going to view that and see whether it's working. So let's go to our prototype first. Let's connect this to test it. So prototype, this should be connected to this state. All right, and when user tap on it again, they should be connected back to the parent frame like this. So give it to on tap instant and all that. Okay, so now let's go and preview that to see whether the selection drop down is working. So let's go to our component, our asset, sorry. Then we'll bring in that component we just created. All right, so we keep it here and preview to see if the prototype is working before we proceed. Now what we want to achieve, if user tap here, the selection drop down should open, right? That is, so tab, I'm not seeing the drop down, but the other part is showing, right? You can see. So we're going to fix that quickly. So tab and the drop down is not showing. So let's go back to our component and fix that. Okay. So back to our component here and see why that is not working. So let's increase the height to see like this. Okay. So now let's go back and preview again. Click there, then preview. So in the preview state now, let's select our drop down. You can see it's okay now, but if I select now, it has closed. So good. So we have achieved that. So quickly, we're going to now proceed to complete the prototype. Now let's create more components so that we can connect each and every one of these selection drop down. So we're going to expand our component frame. Let's expand it like that. Excuse me. All right. So here, the default state, select it and add interaction. Then you're going to bring it to this side like this. Okay. So we're going to make how many selection drop down lists we have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we make extra 4. So let me increase the frame again. Select the frame and increase the width like this. Or I select this one, Alt key drag. Alt key drag, sorry. Add, drag to the left. Add again. And drag it to the left. And let's increase the frame again. Now select this one, add interaction again, and drag it to the. So now we are done. So we're going to update the currency the way it is according to the list. So after Naira is the first one, right? So let's update this to Naira. So we're going to only in the frame that has the text Naira. Then we'll update this symbol to Naira. So instead of doing that from scratch again, we'll just go and copy it from the selection drop down. So double tap only on the icon, Alt key to drag and bring it here. Then we are going to delete this one. Then we'll now take it and put it inside the frame. Double tap on it, take it and put it inside the frame of the currency. So here too, we update the symbol to Naira, and here too the balance to Naira, and just put a random figure as well. Okay, so also here this is going to be in Naira, and this is going to be in Naira. Okay, so here, so 1 Naira equivalent to. All right, so we do that across all the currencies. Remember, when you are changing it, you just make sure everything is accurate. So now we're going to connect the prototype. Everything here seems to be ready. So we'll now connect the prototype so that when the user interacts with the drop down and make selection, it will now navigate back to this. Okay, so now quickly let's check this. Now we're going to start with Naira. If user select on Naira, they should be able to read like this on the screen. So we're going to add interaction and connect it to this. Leave it to on, click on tab, then you change to that, right? So we'll go to the next one, which is euro to euro. Go to the next one, USD is going to go back home. All right. Then the next one, pounds, which is going here. And the next one, which is the last one, RMB. Select it and connect it to RMB. All right, so let's zoom out and go and check for now. Frame to see whether it's working fine now. So let's preview it. So now we have that. So let's say if the user tap on, make selection, and you can see everything is now working perfectly. All right, excellent. That is what we want to achieve. Now we're going to create another component beneath this one that will now give the user the option to also select from which currency they want to convert to which currency they want to convert to. All right, so let's do that. So here we are not going to design that from the scratch. Instead, we're going to make use of this component we just created and change the name before we now take it to a component page. Okay, so let's quickly duplicate this component like this. Hotkey drag, and here we are going to modify one or two things. Okay, the drop down selection that will be under, we don't want it to have all this information, this frame in it, so we're just going to delete all the frames in it. That is the only thing we are modifying. So you select here, delete this frame, and close the frame. Remember, if you are closing and it's moving like this, just select the inner frame and go and change the constraint to top. Then you can now close it back like that. Okay, similarly come to the second one, delete it, select the second frame, change the constraint, and also reduce the height to that. The third one, the same thing. Remember, align them properly so that they will be in the same direction in the parent frame. If not, they won't once you start changing it. So let's see what is the height of this first one. We maintain it across. So the height is 109. So reduce all the rest to 109 and align the frame to the center. So here to the same thing, we delete it. Okay, change the constraint to top and the frame to 109. All right, and align the inner frame inside the main frame. Same thing, this one, delete it, change the constraint to top and the height to 109. Select it and also align it to the center of the frame. And the last one, we do the same thing, delete it, select the inner frame, the constraint to top, and also reduce the height to 109 and align it to the center of the frame. Alright, we're done. I think that is all the changes we need from this one. Then we now change the name to conversion to. Alright, then let's clear this part. Okay, I think we are almost done. So now we are going to cut all the components and this, cut it and go and put it in your component page. Yeah. So let's go back to our design page. So let's select our frame and drag in our component. Now let's go to our assets and our local libraries run here, the component, and we're going to bring in the selection drop down only conversion to, drop it somewhere around there. Alright, so now we're going to select these two frames together and align them to the center. Alright, then you can snap them together. Then remove the spacing to 0. So like this, it's okay. So now let's go up and bring in this text here and put it inside the component frame. So you keep it somewhere around here. So similarly, we're going to make duplicates and take it down to the second frame like this. Now update the text to amount you will receive. Okay, select the frame and the text and make sure they are properly aligned to 0. Also dragging the text into the frame and position it somewhere around there. Can take it up a bit. Can use your arrow to bring it down a bit. So make sure this text and the other text are in the same alignment. So you can use that to align them to the left like that and make sure they're in that same position. So we are done with this one. Now you're going to select all of them and group them together. Then you can now take them up a bit. Okay, take that up, and the spacing between these two should just be 30. Okay, now select the arrow and this, and also align. Okay, and leave the spacing to 10. Group them together, then select this one again and update the spacing back to 30 and also align them to the center of the frame. Select this one and bring it back towards the edge of the grid. So this way everything here is fixed. So now let's select them together and bring them down a bit. So you keep it there and group everything. So I make sure everything is into the center of the frame. So you leave your Y position to be 90 so that it can be somewhere around here, and also make sure it aligns properly with other screens. So now let's take it to the right and duplicate the last frame we have that has the chat icon on that of the home menu. So you duplicate it, select the inner frame and delete it. So now bring in the conversion page and put it inside the frame and align it to the center and snap it properly like this. So we are done with that. We can now update it to conversion page. Alright, so let's take a preview and see the final result. So select the conversion page and preview to see the result. So this is the result. This is how the result will look like. So if I tap here, I will have the selection drop down that opens like this, and we can make selection from what we want. And you can see here is also updating. And if I also tap here, I can also make another selection, and it's also updating here. So we are done with this step. In the next tutorial, we're going to design the product page and round up for the mobile app design. See you in the next lecture.